Now, let's talk about the Eurovision. Australia is out of the running. I don't even know why we're there. We're not part of Europe. But the UK's entrant, Olly Alexander, says he is ambivalent about the Union Jack. The flag, he says, feels divisive and nationalist. I don't think he means nationalist in a good way. Now, Alexander's political views are well known. He has signed a letter that branded Israel an apartheid regime and condemned what he calls Zionist propaganda. I mean, really, is this the best you could do, Darren, for Eurovision? This is the person you've got representing the UK?
Well, Rita, I'm afraid to say this is what happens when you ask the BBC to organise something, right? The BBC couldn't organise a booze up in a brewery. This is well, actually, maybe it could if the booze was anti-Britain, anti-Brexit, anti-Israel, anti a whole host of other things. I mean, his track is called Dizzy this year, Rita. It's spot on because the nation finds this bloke utterly nauseating, right? He stands there and he was promoting this song in a Union Jack bra, all whilst coming up with the most tedious sound bites, these sort of Twitter Tumblr takes on Israel, the Tories, the Union flag. The list goes on and on. This is a man that thinks the only thing interesting about a person is their sexuality or their so-called gender identity. He says he would like to reclaim the Union Jack, but do it in a positive way, as it can feel divisive or nationalist. You know, Rita, it wasn't too long ago we had Union Jacks being flown in Hong Kong by British nationals overseas who flew that flag in defiance of the Chinese communist tyranny in the face of the jackboot of President Xi's oppression of that once British territory. How dare he speak of our flag not being a positive influence when people fly it in those circumstances as a beacon of freedom and liberty? Of course, this Burke, though, would likely happily fly the ever-expanding flag of the alphabet narcissists, right? Under the ideology of Britain's flag, a continent was freed, we had rights created, protected, propagated. I would much rather fly that flag than the one which recently was seen to have harmed children, perhaps beyond repair. And what it boils down to is that this is the BBC's candidate. The BBC consistently choose acts to represent Britain at Eurovision who are anti-British. It says it all about how they view us, the people that are forced to pay it through our licence fee, with the threat of prison, by the way. And last year, our act was said, she was called May Muller. She said that she hated the country she represents. What is wrong
Wow.
with these? Yeah, it's insane, isn't it? They are dripping with anti-British sentiment. They hate the West. They cannot stand the flag that they're there to represent. And the BBC seem to have a penchant for sending people there who simply hate us. And I wonder, Rita, if that's because they too simply cannot stand us. It's the contempt for us that really, really gets me.